Hello everyone and welcome to your WWE Battleground 2015 results and review video. This event took place on July 19, 2015. The first match to kick off the show was Randy Orton versus Sheamus. And this match was short, with pretty good back and forth. It was an okay match. Randy Orton wins cleanly. It was no surprise since he was in his hometown. What did you think of the match?
I thought it was good. Nice and short. It was a nice way to open up the pay-per-view. And again, I like the exchanges they had during the match. It was pretty good. I don't think this will lead to any ongoing feud. I'd be surprised if it does. You know, it was still a good match and a nice way to finish. You know, nice and clean. And yeah, it was pretty much. It was pretty good. And then the next match from there, we had New Day versus the Prime Time Players. Now this was also a good match. It wasn't, I guess, spectacular or quote unquote memorable, but I still liked it. They had a couple of good spots. I liked how Darren Young was dropping the apron. That was pretty cool. Now, what did you think about it?
Well, it was a decent back and forth match. It was nothing special as far as tag team division goes. If Kid wasn't hurt, I'm sure Cesaro and Kid would still be champions, but I guess they're gonna let the other tag teams have a run for the championships. I'm not that interested. Only because the tag team championship hasn't been exciting anyway, because they just slapped two people together and stuff. So it's not that important. But it was an okay match. I think that they maximize their time when they're on screen. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But at least they maximize their time when they're on screen. At least the New Day are being pretty good heels. Primetime players are okay. They're not exactly too over, but I guess that's what they want to go right now. The next match after that was over was Bray Wyatt versus the one who's going to be John Cena in the future, and Roman Reigns. I personally thought this match wasn't as well paced as I thought it should be. There should have been a lot more bigger, tougher spots. I don't really care about Roman Reigns, so Roman Reigns facing anybody that doesn't destroy him, I don't care. Roman Reigns is a horrible wrestler. He's terrible on the mic. That's my opinion of him. I feel bad for Bray Wyatt. Being in the match with him, Bray Wyatt wins with some outside help by Luke Harper. Luke Harper helps him win. The Wyatt family, part of it, is reunited. Roman Reigns gets pinned. But again, he pins by being protected. What did you think of the match?
I have to admit that the pace of this match I thought was pretty bad. It was. And it's just, I don't think Reigns is into it. I don't think he was, because I know the last match he had, the last pay-per-view, it felt like he actually put forth some effort, effort, I meant to say. He tried some new moves, at least, try to mix it up. I know he did like a splash to the outside at the last pay-per-view, and he just didn't do anything like that this time around. And it was just very, very boring up until like the last half. I felt that Wyatt felt like he knew he had to step it up, so I know he was punishing him more creatively and things like that, just to get the crowd to, because it was just a pretty much dead match until the second half, until it was over. And now the next match we had after that was the Big Divas, the big tag team match. It was Naomi, Tamina, and Sasha Banks. They were facing Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Paige, and it was also Nikki Bella, Reba, and Alicia Fox in the match as well. Now, what did you think about it?
Well, it's good to see the Divas get screen time. I think they need screen time. They have a lot of people on their roster. They need to go ahead and allow them to have screen time, especially the women's. The women's division doesn't have enough screen time. The screen time given to the women's is ridiculous because they have enough time for recaps and all that junk. So to me, to have them have that kind of position in a pay-per-view finally is a good thing. However, you can't forget that they only had one match. So my biggest complaint is they should have had more matches on the pay-per-view. The match was okay, a little too short. I think it was like 10 or 11 minutes. Charlotte picks up the win over Brie Bella with the figure 8. Personally, I think all the women do good. I think that Nikki still has some improvement to do, even though she has improved over time. She has some improvement to do, but however, they do need to get the title off of her. She no longer needs to be champion. She doesn't need the title. She just, and I hate the Total Diva show, so that's just my opinion. But again, all the women did pretty good in the match. I'm glad that they have some time on the pay-per-view. However, I think they would not have had that spot in the pay-per-view had Ryback not been injured and a IC title match had been scrapped. What match is next?
Well, yeah, actually, going back to this match, I do believe that you're right. It's good that they're pushing the Divas, and I do agree they have to get the belt off Nick already because it's getting kind of boring. And actually, I thought this match was very good. They really put a lot of effort, and I liked how the wrestlers from NXT, they're really mixed it up, and come on, because NXT, they have way better wrestling than WWE. So, and it's good that they brought them in there. And I guess they had to have more singles matches, just break it up, because you're not going to want to see a tag team match every so often. Well, with them, they have to at least have a singles match, or else have like a dedicated feud between at least one or two of the Divas, just to mix it up. And from there, after that match, we had Cena versus Bowens. Now, this is actually, it's Bryce and the Wall. This is their last match in their feud. What did you think about it?
Well, I think Owens did pretty good in the match. It wasn't exactly that exciting of a match, only because John Cena's in it. John Cena has like 10,000 kickouts per match. You can guarantee one thing: John Cena's gonna kick out at 2. John Cena's gonna beat somebody either pinfall or submission. John Cena is gonna be protected because John Cena is their number one guy. WWE isn't comfortable. I don't know who it is. Vince, Kevin Dunn. There's a dynamic where no one can get over on John Cena. No one can beat John Cena. No one can be better than John Cena, because John Cena is the number one merch deal. John Cena is this, but everyone forgets in the backstage, and we're not going to talk about the match for a second. The fact remains, John Cena is protected. His character is protected to the point where there is nobody on this earth besides Vince McMahon who can put him down. Nobody puts John Cena down. John Cena is like the be-all end-all. There's no battling commentary where one guy's against John Cena. Everyone's on John Cena, on the John Cena bandwagon. I don't like John Cena. I think he sucks as a professional wrestler. I think the only thing he's good at is selling merchandise and selling matches and being a good representative for the company. He can still be all those things and still make all those merch deals without having to bury the good talent coming from NXT or the talent on the main roster. He unfortunately defeats Kevin Owens by submission, making Kevin Owens look weak and terrible. Kevin Owens is a better wrestler, better everything than John Cena. I hate John Cena, and I hate him. That's it. That's my opinion. What'd you think?
Yeah, whenever I hear John Cena talk, he's not even heroic. He's just a bully. He's just a bully who's a wannabe rapper, and that whole shtick is just, I don't know, it's just bad. I don't know. I guess the marks nowadays, I don't know. It's just that I guess a lot of people are buying into it, and Vince is not and I'm assuming Vince is afraid to move away, from something that's tried and true. I think that's the problem here. You're gonna, because he only has a few good years less than him. Not even John Cena his peak is already going down already. So you're gonna have to build someone up, because it's gonna end up like Hogan. You're gonna end up like Hogan when he faced Yokozuna. At that time, he wasn't really so popular. Even at the time when Hogan faced Justice at WrestleMania, I can't remember which one, but it was in I think 1991. And even then, WrestleMania was weighing down on popularity. So, and that's what's gonna happen with Cena soon enough. And you have to just focus on the future, or else you're just gonna go downtown. Or else you're gonna have in the 90s and have those in your houses where they're before the Attitude Era came in, where they were like really cheesy, and they're promoting all these matches that they weren't even that spectacular, but but McMahon was like grasping at straws at that time. That's what's gonna happen if he doesn't build any talent right now. It's gonna be grasping at straws again. And I just don't like the way how Owens made him really cheap, and he's he's not going to be a main eventer anymore, just the way the match did. You know, they're just going to just dump him into like these little, these feuds that don't mean anything. They're insignificant, and he's probably going to end up with the way how Barrett is, you know, unfortunately reduced to the pickup show, which is a shame because, you know, Barrett's very good talent. And then from there, we moved on. We had the bit with The Miz and how he was talking about about how Ryback being hurt. Now, what do you think about small Miz injured right now? But what did you think about it? If Miz hadn't been injured, what do you think would have happened?
Well, I think they would have let the belt stay with Ryback. Ryback would have got the pinfall victory on The Miz, and that's it. The Big Show comes out, gives him the Superman punch, and that segment was just done. It doesn't matter. I guess that was just like a way to calm people down, to get them a little bit less excited for Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins, which was up next. Seth Rollins makes his entrance first, then Brock Lesnar makes his entrance. The match is pretty much Brock Lesnar destroying Seth Rollins for the entire match. Seth Rollins does have some offense at some point during the match. He also tries to run away at one point during the match. Then Brock Lesnar chases him. He jumps. I mean, he literally jumps really high over the ring barricade and chases after him, brings him back to the ring, and just, yeah, Seth at least had some offense. Seth gets the F5 in the middle of the ring. The lights go off. Undertaker comes out. Undertaker is obviously doing a heel move by attacking Brock Lesnar at the end. There was no notification afterwards, after he gave him a chokeslam and 2 Tombstone Power-Drivers. There was no ring announcer telling the crowd that it was a no contest, it was a no DQ, it was a DQ finish. They didn't tell us who won the match, nothing. So the people who paid their hard-earned money, and the people who had to who watch on WWE Network, which is fine because you only paid $9.99 unless you got the free month, you're looking at being shortchanged. Brock Lesnar looked great. He looked like he dropped some weight. We already saw him obviously on Raw and stuff like that, but those who saw him in WWE Network and Beast of the East, he looks fantastic. He looks in great shape. You know, just Seth Rollins looked weak, and they made him look weak, and they made Brock look great. And, you know, I don't know why Undertaker's back. He looks really old and exhausted, and that's my last opinion of it. What do you think?
Yeah, actually, I thought this match was a letdown considering the match they had previously, and the whole Undertaker thing, I really just don't get it because Undertaker and Brock already fought, so I don't know why they're going with another feud. Doesn't make much sense. I'd rather have Brock face Rollins again, or else have Brock do something else. I think they didn't do this because they didn't know what to do with Brock. I don't know why. So it would have been interesting had he gotten the title and then possibly had a feud with Rollins and the Authority, which would have been interesting. But I don't know why, because I just think Cena probably caused his fit saying, "Why are you having me, with Owens? Give me the belt." So, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think the fortunate thing that's going to happen though is that they're going to give Cena the belt, have both belts. They're going to have one of those type of matches, so both belts will be on the line. So, and obviously, they're not going to have Seth with 2 belts. They're going to have Cena with 2 belts. So,
well, we'll talk about that in our Raw review.
They do something ludicrous like that.
Well, we'll talk about that in our Raw review when we do that tomorrow or another day. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I give this pay-per-view a 3 out of 5 stars. The only reason it doesn't get 5 stars, and don't get me wrong, there was some pretty good content on this pay-per-view. The only reason it doesn't get 5 stars was because John Cena won. John Cena could have not lost the championship. They could have made it into a DQ finish. They could have just made it seem okay. They didn't have to hurt the character of Kevin Owens, but whatever. And plus, the match at the end was too short, and Brock Lesnar just destroyed him. That's fine. Brock Lesnar's supposed to be a beast, but they didn't have to make Seth look that way. Cause Seth could have had just a little bit more offense, because he had such small amount of offense, it wasn't even funny. But again, I give it 3 out of 5. It's a very disappointing pay-per-view overall. It was nice to see the Divas featured. That's what I think. Give us your rating, and then we'll say goodbye.
Oh, my rating? I had to say a 2.5. This pay-per-view was lacking. Just Cena Owens match wasn't very good as opposed to the first 2 matches. The ending was terrible, and the last match between Brock and Seth, it it was too much Brock, and I do agree. You know, you made Seth look weak, and he's your champion. They have to make him look like a banner at least a little bit. You know, not make him like a weak champion. Because if you make him look like a weak champion, it gets kind of tiresome. Seeing person like that having the belt. So if you make him seem weak.
Okay.
Well, I guess it's time to go. Thanks, everyone.
All right, hit the like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.